Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Bristol Township Zoning Hearing Board. I'd like to get started by standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Please remove your hats. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, let me introduce you to a few people here. Sitting to my left is our solicitor, Keith Bidleymeyer, Director of L&I, Robert McTeague, our stenographer, Cindy Oliveira, and Mr. Secretary, call the board, please.
Mark DeMarcus? Here. Jim McMahon?
Here.
Colleen Dunn?
Here.
Ed Murphy? Here.
Okay, a few things before we get started with the agenda. So number 2 on the agenda is Ariana Thompson, 1970 Veterans Highway. Our solicitor received a letter. Dear Keith, as you know, our office represents the above referenced applicant in connection with her application for variances on above referenced property, which application is currently scheduled to be heard before the Zoning Hearing Board this evening, May 12th, 2025. With the current site analysis of the property, we would respectfully request that this matter be continued from the Zoning Hearing Board agenda on this evening and rescheduled for Zoning Hearing Board meeting on June 9th. This correspondence will also confirm that on behalf of the applicant, we are authorizing an extension under the applicable municipalities planning code provision through and including June 30th, 2025. As always, thank you for your consideration. Michael J. McGinnis, and CC'd on there is Robert McTeague, the Director of L&I. So I need a motion for a continuance for number 2 on the agenda.
I'll make a motion to continue.
I'll second.
Call the board, please.
Mark DeMarcus?
Yes.
Jim McMahon?
Yes.
Colleen Dunn?
Yes.
Ed Murphy? Yes.
Okay, so number 6 on the agenda is ARECRW LLC 227. This is also a letter was sent or email sent to our solicitor, dear Mr. Biddlemeyer. As you know, this firm represents ARECRWMS LLC, the applicant, in connection with the above referenced application to the Bristol Township Zoning Hearing Board, the board, which is presently scheduled for a hearing on May 12th, 2025. On behalf of the applicant and pursuant to our email communication, please allow this letter to serve as an official request to continue May 12th, 2025's hearing. In order to accommodate the requested continuance in this matter, please allow this letter to be served as a waiver and extension of applicable timeframes set forth under Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code and Section 205-189C of the Bristol Township Zoning Ordinance through June 9th, 2025. Thank you for your time. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you should have any questions or require anything further. Also CC'd on here is Robert McTeague, Director of L&I. So I do not, correct me if I'm wrong, see when they want this continued to. Oh, it does say June 9th, I'm sorry. Yes, okay, June 9th. I need a motion from the board.
I'll make a motion to continue.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Call the board, please.
Mark DeMarcus?
Yes.
Jim McMahon?
Yes.
Colleen Dunn?
Yes.
Ed Murphy? Yes.
Hey, Jim,
Yes,
can
get
you
Colleen.
note that that's their second continuance?
For the record, that is their second continuance. That is AREC their second continuance, or the second Ariana number 2 on the agenda? That is their second. I don't know if this.
No, this one here.
AREC.
Okay. Okay.
For Arena's, that application, she did not have counsel before. That was denied based on a
That's right.
2-2 vote.
Okay.
There was a plan revision, and she retained our office, and that was resubmitted. So it'll
Okay.
be the first continuance with her application.
All right. So the board's stating that the ARECRW LLC is second continuance also, for the record. All right. All right, let's get started with the agenda then. Vassal George Gutev, 1420 Susan Avenue, Croydon. Please come on up.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah,
Jim, just before we get started, the applicant, the site address is actually 1111 Karen Avenue. 1410 is his mailing address.
Okay, yes. The property is located at 1111 Karen Avenue in Croydon.
Karen.
Mr. Gutev, do you have your mailers, sir?
Yes.
Can you please bring them up to the solicitor, please?
How you doing? And you have proof the property was posted to?
I saw it.
Okay. Okay, and was it posted at least 2 weeks before tonight?
Yes,
Okay.
they were posted on April 25th.
Okay, I'll ask
The
you,
date,
when you get sworn in, I'll ask you a couple questions.
and I was like, this minute, this, I'm allowed,
Okay.
sorry, a little late, but.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Kutoff, just ask you a couple quick questions. You handed up some documents, one of which is a picture of 111 Karen Avenue, is that correct? This is
Yes,
111
yes,
Karen
yes.
Ave- Okay. And
This
you-
is the bow window in front of the house.
Yes, sir. And you advised that the property was posted on April 25th, is that correct?
Uh,
The property was
Yes.
posted, that placard was placed in the
Yes,
window?
I placed both yellow on April 25th.
Great, thank
Because there was the date, they were dated
Okay.
April 25th.
All right, great, thanks.
Okay, you can proceed, Mr. Gustav.
So I'm here to make a presentation of our project to expand a driveway adjacent, adding one parking space to the existing driveway. And I was surprised when I submitted all applications for permits and everything that actually I am above the required ratio impervious to pervious surface. Actually, I am adding 160 square foot area. It's one parking space under a tree with pavers, and for us it's very important in terms of our family condition right now. So we are living 3 generations. We want to move into the property.
Slow down for a minute.
Yes.
You said our family condition.
I said this is important for our family because I will explain why. We are living 3 generations. So my mom is 96, and she's really dependent on walker, and getting out of the car, getting in the car is a problem. I don't want that's occurring on the street. But above this, that area is former bushes. Bushes and shrubs. They were abandoned. That I have only roots to actually to maintain that whole area. I need to put only mulch, adding maintenance each year. It doesn't look good for bypassers and at all as a curb appeal. So I didn't know actually when I submitted the requested permits, applications for permits, that I'm really above that ratio, because I believe this was R3. I was a little surprised to learn that the public data is not always accurate. The public data is not always accurate. I called the township. They told me to check with the zoning map. I did it. I found a national zoning map, which I zoomed in. I derived that this R3. My bad was R2. Easy to understand. It's my fault. So the basic is that I'm adding 2% actually over the this ratio of impervious surface, because pavers are not considered pervious, although there are many variations. They created some amount of voids between them, put sand in between. Actually, I did many remedies. The first one is the rooftop disconnect. The whole house is completed intact in terms of gutters, downspouts, underground underground drainage pipes, French drains, away from the property to the property lines. I mean the boundary to the neighbors in the backyard. So this is the actually a remedy to guide the runoff water to dissipate the weight from the grounds and of the main building. So there are other things to be considered. I found it interesting that according to the City of Philadelphia stormwater management guidance, to the City of Philadelphia stormwater management guidance, landscape technique like trees can erase to some extent impervious surface. I have two huge trees above that area within 10-foot distance, which is the requirement. And for overall in the front, I mean for overall trees in the front yard. Additionally, I spliced the elevation drawing showing that actually the house slab is creates 10 inches difference up front to the cartway and 15 inches in the back, 19 inches in the back, so that I derived some ratio as a raise to run, like 3.5% in the back, 3.52 in the back, and 3.5 in the front. So this is, in my opinion, more important than everything else, along with landscape measurements, like planting trees or many other things. I'm working on it for months to improve the landscape. This is about remedies, what I found I can do. And in summary, the proposed variance is to add 0.5% impervious surface to a total of 41. So this is the number I came up with. If you see the calculation sheet supplied to the township, I said calculation sheet supplied to the township. All my neighbors were notified. I talked to them personally. No one is, I guess nobody is here to oppose this proposal and to raise objection. I don't think that this could cause any direct impact to the neighboring properties. And maybe the last thing, but it's still a better aesthetics and more of off-street parking for us. Actually, the properties are small, and this is the problem for everyone along the street.
I agree with the off-street parking thing. So, yeah. You good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
In-
Go ahead, Ed.
Bob, we're talking 2% over, correct? Impervious?
He's 6% over.
6%?
Six.
Okay, and
Yeah,
is it Gutolf?
This is
Mr. Gutolf?
how we bought the house.
These pavers are already in, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, the
Oh, they're in, I saw them. It's already done, correct?
unfortunately, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Like I said, it wasn't intentional. It was my mistake to assume something which I have to prove twice, at least, because this is public data. For instance,
I think you're gonna get some advice.
our lot size is public data shows one. The actual is different. Is a little more.
It looks fantastic, I'm not worried.
Do you
Thank
want me to give the advice, Ed, or do you want to give the advice?
You sound way better than
Okay.
I do.
All right. So here we go again, right? Everybody, you need a permit for everything, right? So if you don't think you need a permit for something, please call the township and they will answer any of your questions that you may have if you need a permit or not, okay? All right, you good, Mr. Gustav? All good? You done, your presentation?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Gustav? Good,
Mr. Chairman, can we just mark the document that you provided as A1 for the record?
so moved.
Thank you.
All right. Nobody else have any questions? Bob, anything to add?
Nothing to add.
Okay, great. Anybody from the audience like to come up for or against this application? Okay, what's the pleasure of the board? Hit me with it.
I'll make a motion for this.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, call the board, please.
Mark DeMarcus,
Yes.
Jim McMahon,
Sure.
Colleen Dunn,
Yes.
Ed Murphy, yes.
Okay, right, permits
you.
for everything.
Thanks so much.
You got it. All right. Let's see here. All right, Donald Linehauser, come on up. 1122 Herb Avenue, Bristol. Please, come on up. Mr. McGinnis, you may proceed.
All right, good evening. Mike McGinnis here tonight on behalf of the applicant. And I have Paul Leinheiser with me, and just as a very brief housekeeping item, I corresponded with Mr. Bidleymeyer earlier today, as Mr. Leinheiser is now the record owner of the subject parcel, which is located at 1122 Grebe Avenue. It was previously owned by my client's uncle, who is now deceased. His parents live in the home presently, and the transfer through the estate administration has occurred such that my client is now the record owner of the parcel. Then, Mr. Bidleymeyer, I don't know if you need to mark anything.
We're good.
Okay. All right, so we're here to discuss the subdivision, proposed subdivision of the property located at 1122 Grebe Avenue in the township. The site plan, which has been prepared for the subdivision, is before you this evening for consideration. The site is located in the R2 district. It is presently improved by a single-family detached dwelling with a detached garage. The detached garage is located to the left portion of the property, to the rear, if you're looking into the site on Grebe Avenue. And you can see the existing dwelling on the plan west. This property is currently a little bit larger than a quarter acre. It's 0.26 acres. And as I indicated, the proposal is to subdivide the lot and construct another single-family detached dwelling. We have a different exhibit, which is an aerial of the GIS map, if the board would like to review it as part of the presentation this evening. But you can probably see on the site plan that's before you that this property and the dwelling and the associated improvements are sort of shoved to the Plan West side of the site. So again, if you're looking into the property right now, you would see, I would submit a single-family detached dwelling, the improvements, the garage to the west, and then a very large side yard. The majority of the homes on Grebe Avenue and then on Edgeley, which is the adjacent parcel, are approximately 0.13 acres. That is not uniformed. There are some 0.10 acre properties. There are a couple which are larger than that. But what we're going to do, hopefully, is to subdivide this lot and at the end of the day create two more regularly shaped lots, which again, post-subdivision, will have lot sizes which essentially mirror almost all of the properties on this Grebe Avenue street and the adjacent street on Edgeley. The lots, Lot 1 and Lot 2, would be approximately the same size, right around 5,700 square feet. As I indicated, my client's parents presently reside in the existing dwelling, which is on site. The proposal would be for the new dwelling to be constructed, and then my client's daughter to move into that property. Hopefully she would be able to provide some care to my client's parents as they age. We have a few exhibits, as I indicated, if the board would like to review those. Otherwise, the variances, I think, are fairly straightforward. We have the lot size variance. 6,500 square feet is the minimum lot size in this district. We have a minimum lot width variance, which again is in keeping with most of the properties on this street of 50 feet. Then we have a front yard variance for the new home that would be constructed at 11.5 feet. I will note that the existing dwelling is closer to the street than the new dwelling in terms of the front yard, as are many of the homes in that area. I would just also note with the existing dwelling that the rear concrete patio would be removed as part of the subdivision process, and then we are over on the impervious surface for Lot 1. Of course, as we go through the subdivision process and we propose the construction of the new dwelling, there will be stormwater management improvements that would be reviewed as part of that process by Gilmore and Associates, and we would, of course, comply with all of those requirements. So that is the brief overview. I would like to offer Paul to be sworn in and just provide some quick testimony and then open it up for any questions the board would have.
What's the pleasure of the board? Would you guys like to see the exhibits, or are we good? 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 All right.
And I could, if it's easier, I could also just have him proffer and summarize and confirm that everything I said is true and accurate, and then answer any questions the board would have too.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, good evening. Paul, can you please state your name for the record?
Paul Leinheiser?
All right. And you are now the record owner of the parcel that's at issue this evening, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And did you hear the testimony and the summary that I provided the board this evening regarding this application?
Yes, I did.
All right. And if you were in fact called to testify, would you so testify in a similar matter to the board as the summary that I provided?
Yes.
Is there anything that I have offered the board that you believe is inaccurate or you would need to correct this evening?
No.
Okay. I have nothing further at this time.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Leinheiser?
I just have one. How many families reside in the home that is existing? Because there's 2 mailboxes there, so that came up as a question.
I believe there's two. My parents are downstairs, and there is a gentleman, Bob Barber, upstairs.
So it's a rental?
Yes.
Upstairs? Thank you. Bob, did you have that listed as a rental unit?
I don't believe so, Colleen, but we'll have to look.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Mark? No? Bob? What you got?
Nothing to add on that, Jim.
Okay. Anybody from the audience? Like to come up, get for or against this project? Okay. So I need a motion from the board. Does anybody want to add anything else to this application? Good. Go ahead, Ed. Speak up. Forever hold your peace.
No, I just don't know how to word it. I'm thinking a second here.
I mean, I'll make a motion for the subdivision, but as far as the rental property, that seems like a separate issue.
I totally agree.
I don't know quite how to word it, but the application in front of us for the subdivision, I'm all for.
Mr. Bittenmeyer, anything to add to this?
They would have to seek and receive approval for a rental property. Mr. McTeague, is that correct?
Yeah, it would have to come in front of the township for approval.
That has really nothing to do with the application
Right.
per
Does
se.
not.
It's gonna be an enforcement issue.
Correct.
Okay. Everybody agree with that?
I agree with that.
Okay. What's the pleasure of the board?
I made a motion for the subdivision.
Okay, I need a second for the subdivision, please.
I'll second.
Call the board, please.
You have something?
No, okay.
Colleen Dunn,
Yes.
Jim McMahon,
Yes.
Mark DeMarcus,
Yes.
Ed Murphy, yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, let's keep moving here, I guess. Eduardo Medina, 5806 Watson Avenue. Please come on up. All right, Bryce, go for it.
Good evening, Board. Bryce McGuigan from Begley Carlin here on behalf of Eduardo Medina, the owner of the property located at 5806 Watson Avenue. By way of background, the property at issue, property at issue is technically 3 separate parcels. Is that working now? All right, well, anyway, you'll just have to take my word for it. So there's 3 separate parcels at issue. They total about 15,000 acres, Jesus. 15,000 square, it's been a long day. 15,000 square feet in total. Thanks, Bob. That is the one, yes. So right now, if you look at it, actually, Bob, can you go to the next page for me? All right, so this is Eduardo's house. It fronts Watson. This is Elwood behind it. Eduardo has obviously his main lot for his home, and then there's 2 separate parcels to the rear that he also owns. Those are vacant. Candidly, he's in recent years used those for storage as part of his landscaping business. He knows he's not allowed to do that. He's been in touch with the township on that, and he's actually paid fines for both the use of that property as well as some of the improvements that we're here for today. What we're here for today, though, he will not be continuing that use. He is here to request relief related to the 2 accessory sheds and buildings that he installed to the rear of his property with some additional paver patio to the rear. Fortunately, Eduardo does own the property behind his house, so the plan today is essentially for a lot line change to make his backyard larger and to basically, I would say, somewhat normalize the 2 lots to the rear, which are too long and too thin to do anything with. So Bob, if you can go to the first page for me. Thank you very much. So the plan today is essentially to keep his property essentially as is, to increase the backyard as you see here, which would allow both the impervious surface ratio on his home to become compliant, as well as to allow some additional space for formal stormwater management for some of the additional impervious surface. And it will also have a buildable lot to the far rear fronting Elwood that will be completely zoning compliant. The only variances that he needs here today to move forward with the lot line change is a variance for these 2 accessory structures to the rear to be within the accessory structure setback, which is 5 feet. It's 5 feet from all property lines, both the side and the rear yard. Candidly, obviously, Eduardo knows that he made a mistake by proceeding forward without permits, but this is something that is actually pretty common in this particular neighborhood. I hate to ask Bob, can you go back to the other page for me? I know, I'm sorry. All right, so if you look here, his direct neighbor, there's one, not to call people out here.
Oh, you're
there-
going to.
That's kind of what I'm doing here. There's one in the side yard and the rear yard, the neighbor next to him. Looks like at least one that looks like it's over the property line, and then the neighbor to the other side, again, one to the rear that looks like it's in a property line, potentially over. So this is something that's kind of in the area here. Fortunately, Eduardo is in a position where he has extra property to his rear, so that way he does not, he's not in a similar position. He knows that he's still, to move forward with the lot line change, has to go through a whole separate process that would need to be approved by Township Council. And here's what I will say. When he did get the notices of violation, he did hire my office, he did hire a surveyor, and he has been trying to rectify this issue to the best of his ability. But with that, I have Eduardo here with me tonight. Eduardo will be more than happy to attest to my statements and to answer any questions or comments that the board may have. Eduardo, why don't you come on up?
Hi. Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right. Eduardo, you heard all the statements that I made to the board just now. Is that right? Yep. You gotta speak into this.
Yes.
And you understood those statements.
Yes.
Are they true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right. Will you be willing to adopt my statements to the board as your testimony this evening?
Yes.
All right. And obviously, you understand now that you made a mistake in making these improvements without permits. Is that right?
Yes, of course.
All right. And because of that, you've paid fines to the township, correct?
Yes.
And you're moving forward with both this zoning hearing board process as well as a separate lot line change process. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. But again, these improvements were made to, that's your house, correct?
Yes.
You live there with your family.
Yes.
And these improvements were made to help you and your family better use your backyard, essentially.
Yes.
All right. And if the board were to grant this relief, would that help you to more reasonably use your backyard and to use your property?
Yes.
All right. With that, if the board has any questions, we'll be more than happy to address those.
What exactly are these structures we're speaking of, by the way?
Eduardo, what do you use those buildings for? And do me a favor and speak into this.
The right side is like a gym.
A gym?
Gym for exercise for my daughters.
This
And
one
the
right
other
here?
one is for like a barbecue grill for, you know.
It's a covered area for cooking and
Yeah,
for
cooking, yeah.
recreation?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Medina, you're aware that, and, you know, council stated this, right? Just because your neighbor did it, doesn't mean that you should do it, right? You should get permits for everything, right?
Yeah, I know, I understand, yeah.
You understand that
Yeah.
now? All right?
Now I understand, you know.
Okay. All right. But, all right. Anybody else have any questions? Bob?
Just to answer Bryce, we do have the neighbor as well in court on enforcement, just to clear that
Oh,
up.
okay, so I feel less bad now.
I would just ride through the whole neighborhood, according to Bryce, like what they're all doing over there, so.
I only point out a couple, okay.
That is, let me see, what's your phone number? No, I don't go there. Okay. Anybody from the audience like to come up for or against this application? No? Okay, well. Let me hear it. What's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion for this.
Okay. Second,
I'll second.
call the board.
Colleen Dunn,
Yes.
Mark DeMarcus,
Yes.
Jim McMahon,
No.
Ed Murphy, yes.
Thank you very much.
You got it. All right, Gian Performance Solution LLC, 2925 State Road. Please come on up.
Good evening again, Board. Bryce McWilliam, still from Begley Carlin, here this time on behalf of Geon Performance Solutions LLC, the owner of the property located at 2925 State Road in Croydon. I have with me tonight Stephanie Losi, the plant manager at Geon, and she's been working at this facility for 26 years. So if the board has any specific questions about the operation, she is far more capable of answering that than I am. But by way of background, the property at issue is approximately 3.5 acres. It's located within the M2 heavy manufacturing district and is home to an existing 75,000 square foot facility that serves for both manufacturing and storage of Geon's primary product, which are plastic pellets. They're a plastic compounding business. These pellets are manufactured and stored on the property and then shipped or delivered out to customers that they have through the local and non-local areas. Geon is a international company. However, this facility has been here for over 30 years. It was previously known as Roscom, local Bristol Township business. And at this point, candidly, they're just outgrowing the facility. They do a lot of business and they manufacture quite a lot of material. And most of this facility that you see here, this warehouse, is used for the storage of these plastic pellets. What they're trying to do here to help alleviate this issue they have is to move some of the storage from inside the structure to 5 separate storage silos that they're planning to place right next to the building. Each of these silos is about 160 square feet in terms of footprint, and they're about 40 feet high. They would allow for the transfer of approximately, up to, let's say, 300,000 pounds of material from the warehouse to the silos themselves. That will allow for not only some additional storage area inside the structure, but also additional space to help in terms of circulation and just the general structure of their business to make it function more efficiently and more smoothly. To do this, however, they're technically taking up 6 parking spots with silos. Now, the plan is to move these 6 parking spaces right over here to the other side of right against the property line. So they're removing 6, but they're adding 6. So the total is going to be a net 0 for parking. However, we need a variance for parking because the property is currently an existing nonconformity, 25 spaces when 37 is otherwise required. The actual load on the property, the exact need for parking is not going to change. We're just modifying where the spaces are. We need one other variance, which is for building coverage, because technically each of these silos constitutes building coverage under the Bristol Township ordinance. So we need a whopping 0.4, I don't want to get it wrong here, 0.43% building coverage. Now, I would say that's de minimis. Either way, it's a very small amount, especially when the benefit is it would allow this 30-plus year Bristol Township business to better and more efficiently operate its business and serve the local and regional community. So with that, we require those 2 variances to move forward. As Stephanie will attest in a moment, this relief will help them to better operate their business and the exchange is only literally a 0.43% building coverage variance together with keeping the same non-conforming parking on site. So with that, Stephanie, why don't you do me a favor and come on up?
Losi, L-O-S-I.
Stephanie, you serve as the plant manager for this facility, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And again, you've been working there for 26 years now?
Correct.
All right. Did you have a chance to hear all my statements to the board just now?
Yes.
Were they true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Is there anything that you would like to change or add based on what I just told the board?
No.
All right. Would you be willing to adopt my statements to the board as your testimony here this evening?
Yes.
All right. And obviously, if the board has any questions regarding your proposed improvements, your business, or the history that you have here in the township, you'd be more than happy to answer those. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Perfect. So with that, we'll open up to any questions that the board may have.
Ms. Losi, do you guys occupy that whole building?
Yes, sir.
These silos, is there going to be any dust, residue, anything?
No, they're plastic pellets. They're just essentially little round plastic balls that our customers take and then they use them to do like injection molding or extrusions.
So the transfer of those pellets into the silos is not going to create any kind of plastic dust,
No.
nothing, anything like that? No environmental
No, everything will be run through our global EH&S as we do the program anyhow, because they have to double check that we're meeting our regulations as well.
Great, thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. Bob, anything to add? One lone person in the back.
I'm just here observing.
Oh, okay. Oh, great.
Early night, huh?
Must see TV.
No, I'll be here next month.
Oh, okay. There you go.
He's searching.
Okay.
Not my eyes, a baby across my teeth.
There you go.
Oh, hang on, Jim, you missed, there's another member of the audience here tonight.
We all know. We all know. We all know. We all know President Bowen. So, welcome, Craig. By the way. Okay. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Call the board, please.
Mark DeMarcus.
Yes.
Jim McMahon.
Yes.
Colleen Dunn.
Yes.
Ed Murphy, yes. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. I need a motion to adjourn, please.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it.
Baby is 3 months.